फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम टू माय ध्वजा। आज हम लोग बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक के बारे में बात करें, बट दिस वीडियो इज गोइंग टू बी इन इंग्लिश। Today this video is going to be about, it's an information video, not a medical advice. And secondly, we're going to have clarity about COVID-19 and a lot of your confusion topic, vaccination. Those of you viewers who are going to watch this video will be published in 3 parts on YouTube channel so that we can divide it in a proper visibility time. Okay, so let's get started. Here's somebody to whom I look up to, who is a practicing gynecologist, very known, and somebody who wished to have a gynac who is ever smiling, and that's what she is, Dr. Neena Mansukhani. Hello, Dr. Neena Mansukhani.
Hi Shreya, how are you?
I am rocking. How are you doing?
Good, as good as I can be.
Oh, I've got a lot of respect for all the doctors because they all are working, I think, day in, day out in this scenario. And Dr. Neena, I have a first question, which is a little out of the box, but do you think COVID-19 is more of a trouble, or a panic and confusion is more of a trouble?
Honestly, I think both are equally important, playing a part right now. One can't ignore that COVID is a serious problem, but I think the trauma and the panic is also, equally important because that also has to be handled. If you're mentally strong, only then you can get through this phase and overcome this COVID.
Right. So probably the equal thing. And what do you think can be the best solution to make people little more strong and little more confident about the whatever is happening around?
Honestly, I feel nothing works as well as uh, an actual true life experience that somebody has to share. However much you propagate information, you may put it up in the newspapers, you may put it up in radio channels, even our phone, the moment you dial somebody, it's telling you to please take Bharatiya vaccines and do gaz ki duri. People will only follow it when somebody from their inner circle or family members has experienced it true to life. People should not lose their family members, but a lot of them have actually lost them, and that is what wakes you up to the reality. And similarly, when somebody has got through and made it through that episode of COVID, and tells you that okay, it's not too much, you can do it, then that gives you a reassurance that yes, maybe we can also make it through this period. So nothing like a personal experience.
That's beautiful. So we see around and we learn.
Yes.
We keep learning. That's awesome. So let's get started with the actual video. My first question, Dr. Neena, what is this COVID-19 and how it affects a human body, irrespective of its pregnancy or a breastfeeding or a normal human being?
So COVID is actually the infection is called as COVID-19. It is the infection which happens because of the novel coronavirus. So there are various types of coronaviruses, and the new coronavirus is causing a severe acute respiratory syndrome. There have been RNA viruses. So there are two types of viruses. One is an RNA virus and one is a DNA virus. So like you have the hepatitis is a DNA virus. Similarly, you have coronavirus, which is an RNA virus. And earlier in the past also, I think a decade or so earlier, they had a severe acute respiratory syndrome, which is why this is called as SARS-CoV-2, because this is the second episode that people have noticed of this severe acute respiratory syndrome. So what this virus actually does is an mRNA virus, which enters the body through your nasal passages and your throat. It goes through the mucous membrane lining your throat, and it enters into your cell. It gets into the host DNA and changes it, produces many small copies called virions, and those have a capacity to attack your body. Now, breaking it down to the pathology, what it really does, it causes pneumonia in the lungs, and it also causes a kind of a coagulopathy in the teeny weeny vessels that you have in the body, which is called as coagulation and thrombosis. So this seems to be the pathology right now. So obviously air exchange in the lungs is hampered, you start getting hypoxic, and there is a fluid collection in the lungs, you get pneumonia, and your oxygenation suffers. Eventually, because of the microthrombosis thrombi that form all over the body, you also get multiple organ involvement, and super added on top of this, you then get infections, right? So sepsis and multi-organ failure seems to be the terrible end stage that this disease causes.
That's true. That's true. So for all of you, what Dr. Neena told right now is from mild stage to moderate stage
Yes.
to severe stage,
Yes.
and how it's progressing and how it's working and functioning in the body. At the same time, I think Dr. Neena will also agree that there are many of us around. Might be we had the infection, but it didn't show up anything in our body.
So asymptomatic carriers,
Right.
which is why it is really important to wear that mask, because you don't know who is carrying the infection.
Right. Might be symptoms are there and might be it's not there. Absolutely. Here we comes to the symptoms. Dr. Neena, what are those basic symptoms that we can observe? Again, pregnancy, breastfeeding, or in a normal human being also. For us to understand, we need a special care now.
So it's basically like a flu kind of a symptoms. So you will have cough. Mostly it is a dry cough. Then you have nasal congestion. You may have fever. Now, fever seems to be the commonest presentation. But like I said, you may have no symptoms at all. Just a severe body ache, a headache, a myalgia, what is called as, it's a terrible body ache that one feels. A lot of people now are also presenting with unnatural things. A lot of people have only vomiting and fever, so you feel this is a food poisoning case or a
Right.
diarrhea case, and that is how also it gets missed sometimes. Some people are presenting with headaches and eye pains, and right now it's presenting with a lot of unnatural loss of sense of smell. That also
That's
seems to be a very, very important feature. So smell and taste. But I would say presently, in the present circumstances, any abnormal undue fatigue that you're feeling, or fever, or even nasal congestion or dry cough which has not gone in 3 days, you must check. You must check your RT-PCR test.
That's important. How does people come to know that it's positive or negative? It's usually through RT-PCR test, what we
Yes, so
usually
there
do.
are two types of tests available. One is the RT-PCR test, which is a test which is based on the RNA of the virus. It amplifies it and then it converts it into a DNA, and that is picked up by the polymerase chain reaction. So this is a very, very sensitive test, and but it does also come false negative sometimes. That is the problem. The second test is the rapid antigen test. Both these tests are performed via nasal swab. The rapid antigen takes about an hour to do, 30 minutes to an hour, and the RT-PCR takes about 8 to 12 hours to
12 hours.
perform. The
Okay.
challenge is the amount of time, the turnover of the turnover of the test and giving the report. So till that time, it becomes a very big dilemma what to do with the patient. Should you treat that patient as COVID positive, or should you not treat?
Right,
But
right.
so these are the two tests available. Always remember, a suspect is a suspect. So please continue to treat that suspect as COVID positive. Even if it comes negative, you're great. If it
It's
comes positive,
beneficial.
you're safe.
Right.
Okay.
Are these both tests are advisable even in pregnant ladies? Like they're safe for pregnant ladies also?
So RT-PCR, yeah, both the tests are definitely safe. And for diagnosis, one should use the RT-PCR. The rapid antigen test is supposed to be used only in the hospital setting for healthcare
Right.
workers, or any emergency situation to be handled. When the patient, suppose a trauma case, you have to push to OT immediately. That's the only time when you want to save time. But if your rapid antigen is positive, it is advisable not to repeat and go into the RT-PCR. Rapid
Right.
antigen positive should be taken as a positive nevertheless. But if you have the time and the space for it, you should go for an RT-PCR and then treat accordingly. Remember, there have been patients who've been negative for RT-PCR and then turned out positive.
Right.
So always go with clinical symptoms first, and then do the test. If your test is
Right.
negative and your clinical symptoms are still supporting the diagnosis, wait and repeat it after 3 days.
Right. So I think you all will understand there is a amazing, I won't call it a pain, but when Dr. Nina is talking, please remember, it's important, please remember. So somewhere our heart is telling, do not ignore. You
Hmm.
will have to visit a doctor and take a proper treatment. See, nobody is going to put you under a severe and directly get you admitted.
Yes.
There is a way to go about it, and definitely not an internet, not an Google, not a local relative should treat you after 3 days of being in symptoms, right, Dr. Nina?
Yes, it's very unfortunate that because there is a stigma attached to COVID, a lot of people don't want to say कि मुझे fever था 5 दिन से,
Right.
and they are scared. In fact, hide it. Take help immediately.
That's
That's what I
important.
would say. You know, early catch the bird, catch the disease nip it in the bud. Don't
Right.
delay. That's what
I
I would
think all the doctors say this. It's not about treatment, Shreya. It's about early detection. Then we get
say.
it a very good time to actually treat a person. Okay,